Hello lovely people, I hope you're all well. As you know, over the half term I ran some free online art workshops to try and keep us all busy over the Halloween half term, and now we're into lockdown number 2, so I thought I would try and make at least one make video a week to put out on here to try and cover all age groups really, from tiddly tots to adults. So anybody wants to have a go at something arty and crafty at home. Again, I've tried to keep the materials as inexpensive as possible, using materials that you would find around the home, but on some instances, for example today's make, you may need, or you will need, a glue gun or certainly a spirit based glue, but I would recommend the glue gun. So some things, sorry if you haven't got, but I've tried to keep everything else down to something really simple, with today's one being based on spoons. So the idea I had, again for all age groups, were these butterfly spoons, or spoon butterflies. The words aren't coming out right tonight, it's not going to end well. So I've tried to encompass all sorts of skill sets, from little ones that just might want to add sparkle and decorate the shape, through to the next age group up, which I would say is keeping it a little bit basic without any colour, just using pen work, through to maybe the teenage years and adults adding a little bit more of the colour blending and some of the paint techniques that you can see around the edge, hopefully, of that butterfly. So it's going to be a pretty quick teach, I think, so I'll show you how it's done. What you're going to need are 4 plastic spoons. I have actually, although these look the same, they do vary in shape. So you might have dessert spoons, you might have teaspoons. You'll definitely need 2 dessert size spoons, but if you had the top wings, for example, turn that round so you can see what I mean, those top wings, but you might want 2 small teaspoons rather than 2 more dessert spoons for the bottom wings. These ones were both different types of dessert spoon, just to give you an idea, but obviously a teaspoon would look equally as good at the bottom. So let's get started. I'm going to go straight in with the more advanced skills for the butterfly there, but I will show you how to dumb it down a little. That's probably not the right word, but just make it a little bit easier if you've got little ones that are having a go at this project as well. First thing to say is, if you have a glue gun, get it on now, because the paint we're going to use dries really quickly and you obviously want to construct your butterfly as soon as possible. So this blended technique that I use on the advanced butterfly, I'll show you how it's done. The paint I use is acrylic paint. Again, you may not have acrylic paint at home. I'm using the paint for this particular technique, but if you wanted to keep it advanced but just patterned without that blending, you can use just Sharpie pens, permanent markers. These are Sharpie, but you can get a whole set down in the pound shop of all the different colours, obviously just for £1. I love these pens. These are my Posca pens, paint pens. I really recommend these. They actually go over the plastic really well, so they work great. Or if you haven't got any of that, I thought you could actually use nail varnish. Obviously the fumes might be a bit much, or using a well ventilated area, but you can use nail varnish, anything that would go over the plastic. Your water-based paints, poster paints, won't adhere very well. You could try mixing them with a bit of PVA. That usually helps them stick to plastic if that's all you've got at home. But I'll show you how to get that blended effect here using the acrylic that I talked about. It's really simple. So I've got some yellow and red already out on a plate, and all I'm going to do, you have to apply it quite quickly to get the blend. So I'm covering my spoon, hoping I'm holding it in the right place, with the yellow. Like so, and whilst it's still wet, I'm not even going to bother washing my brush, but if I did, you'd have to dry it off afterwards, otherwise it washes that paint off of the plastic. Let's pick up some of the red. I'm starting down here and I'm just blending it up. There, up and into the yellow. I don't drag it back down, I take it in one direction only. And if I want to come down from the tip as well, as I did in this one, as you can see from the tip down, I'm going to come down from the top of the spoon, try and hold it to the camera, hard to see what I'm doing, like so. You get an effect like that. I'm holding it up to the light, it looks quite see-through. You have got the option of letting that dry and then putting a second coat over the top if you want, but what I would recommend is that you put a colour on the back side of the spoon there. I put a red on the back of this one. It just brings out the colours at the front a little bit more. So that's how you would get your basic colour down. If you haven't got the acrylics or you're working with younger children, you can just give them the spoon. At this stage I still leave the handle on because it's easier to hold and move around than trying to just hold a wing shape on its own. So don't worry about the handle. Again, Pound Shop, these fabulous sparkles. Kids can have hours of fun sticking these down, making some lovely patterns on their butterfly shapes there, on their wings, like so. Or you could give them a magic marker pen or a Sharpie pen, like I say, and they can pattern and design whatever they want on this side of the spoon. So it's the back of the spoon, not the side that you would put food on. It's that back side of the spoon there. Okay, put that away. So then, when your spoon, your blended spoon has dried, it's about applying a pattern. Now if you go on Google and just put in butterflies, you'll get hundreds and hundreds of different ideas of how to pattern the butterfly wings. I'm going to show you a really simple one, and I'm using a Sharpie for this rather than my Posca pen, just because it was the first I picked up really. So I'm going to outline the whole of that shape, that whole spoon shape at the top, and I'll try and do it quickly, so I know it can't be very interesting waiting to see. And zoom around very, very quickly. Take your time with it. You'll find that some of the paint tends to come off as you're putting the marker over, but when you put the second coat on, it covers it up. I'm only putting this first coat on, so excuse any little marks you may see. I'm going to round that whole tip. Cannot do this holding it up. Like so, and then if I hold this one, I'm now going to come in with this sort of scalloped shape that comes into the wing there, just at the edge of the butterfly's wing. So I'm going to do that quickly. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Your butterflies don't need to be symmetrical. Okay, this would need a second coat. I'll show you what I mean about the paint coming off and not to worry about it. So I've put in the scallop shape. If I bring this up close, can you see where I'm pulling the marker pen over the top of the paint? It's starting to remove the paint underneath. That's perfectly normal, don't worry. Let this lot dry and then apply a second coat of marker over the top, and you'll be good to go. If you haven't got a marker pen and you've got a black acrylic and a thin brush, again obviously that would work as well. Then you're going to look to make this sort of veining effect that comes over the butterfly wings like that. It's a bit like the veins you'd get on a leaf. And again, you can let your imagination run wild with that, however you want. So I'm going to go out from where my handle is, out to each one of those scallop lines that I drew in, like so. I'll do a bit of second coating while I'm here as well, cover up some of those gaps. There's my first one in. My second line might come actually from that first line there down to that scallop, and then from the same spot again maybe to that scallop there. And then I'm going to do this pattern in between. I'll show you. It's a repeated scallop pattern. How many times can I say the word scallop in one sentence? You see I've just come down like so. Now if you get a nice feel on this black, get it nice and black without any gaps showing through, what's really nice and really does bring it to life is when it's dry, you can put these little tiny white dots over the top of the black or in little sections of the butterfly to really make it quite realistic. So the bottom wings, I just kept all one colour. You can see I've got that same veining effect with some of the little white dots around the edge. That same veining effect can be achieved just on a basic white spoon head. There you go, there's nothing else been used except for a Sharpie pen on that one. And with this one you could add little diamonds over the top of it if you wanted to. You could add glitter. I've got pots and pots of these sorts of junk pots really, all different types of collage that you could add over the top of these butterflies. You really can go for it. Now when they're dry, you've got your 4 wings that are set, patterned and dry. Imagine that's finished. What we need to do now is trim off that handle. So again, if youngsters are doing this on their own, please get the adults to do this part, because little shards of plastic do tend to come off. What you're going to do is cut in like so. And it will be a rough edge at the bottom, but it's going to be hidden behind the body of the butterfly anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Now one of the handles you're going to want to keep because it makes the body of the butterfly. So So you decide how long you want your butterfly to be. This one needs to be a little bit shorter. And you just trim off the top of the handle there like so. At the moment it's very square. If you really want to go for detail, you can round off the edges a little bit more. See that? I don't know if that's, you can see that or not. And you've got 4 of these handles to work with, so if some of them crack, let me see if I can show you, for example, there we go. So sometimes when you cut them they can crack like that. You've got another 3 to work with anyway, but it doesn't show, so don't worry at all. When you've got this like that, what you need to think about are the, I think they're called proboscis, or let's call it antenna for the sake of it, coming out of the top of the butterfly there. Now in my ones I had some wire that I've twisted to come out the top of the butterfly there, but you might not have wire at home. If you haven't, you can just cut card or a piece of paper, and because it's very straight at the moment, if you run your fingernail up it, you can curl it so it curls over the top to give it a bit of shape. Now whether you go with this, you're going to glue gun it or use your spirit base glue to stick your proboscis into the neck or the top of that butterfly's body like so, or you can go for the wire, and this is just a length of wire, and I had the thin nose pliers, and I've just twisted the tops of the wires over to give that circle at the edge. Whichever one you go for, the paper or the wire, proboscis or antenna, I really should have found out what word was the right word to use there. You're going to glue gun them in the back of the body there. Let me turn that around so you can see. There's the back of our body, and you're going to glue gun that coming out of the top. I'm just going to do that quickly for you now so you can see. Now you can use a spirit base glue. The trouble with spirit base glue is A, it stinks, and B, it takes quite a little while to go off. Glue gun glue is pretty instant. You hold it there for literally 10 seconds, there you go, and it's stuck. And you decide where you want your antenna to go, like so. And then you would paint the body, or you can leave it white if you want to, of your butterfly, and let's just stand to dry. If you're using acrylic paints, honestly they're dry in about 10 minutes. It's really very quick. This one for example I painted black, and I did the both back side of it as well. Now then, at this point you should have your 4 wings cut to size. I've only got one there. You're going to have to pretend that these are all coloured. I didn't want to bore you with painting all 4 on camera. Let me just cut the handles off. The tricky part, and I'm not going to lie, it is tricky, and it's a bit fiddly. You sort of have to mess around with it and have a bit of patience. It's putting these wings onto the body. Let me cut this 4th wing off. Whoa, bits of plastic everywhere. So, sweep them off because they're a bit sharp. Okay, I will try and demo it. I'm hoping the camera's picking up on my hands. If it's not, I'll hold it up to the camera as well. So there's the body that I just stuck those wires to. Again, imagine that's painted. And all I'm going to do is put a lot of glue down the back and the recess of that spoon handle. So let me put that on now. Mine's a cool melt, so when it does go on my skin, it does hurt a little bit, but not like these really hot glue guns. So quite lucky I can mess around with the butterfly wings of this without getting burnt. So if that was laying on the table, I'm going to decide what angle I want these wings to go off. And now if I let go of it up here, you can see, I know what you're saying, it will start to fall down where it hasn't. There it goes, because the glue's not yet set. So I'm going to have to hold it down here before I show it and hold it up. So I'm putting both of the wings in, and you kind of have to hold the body up off the table and let the wings fall down. And what you'll also need to do is apply some glue gun glue over the top of the spoon heads once they're positioned. So the back of these butterflies isn't very pretty. Lots of glue going on. So I've positioned my butterfly wings where I want them to be. This one needs more glue under it for sure. And then I'm going to put more glue over the top of those positioned wings. Now hopefully my techie daughter who puts these videos and edits these videos together for me we'll be able to put some sort of pause button on here so you don't have to sit and wait for this glue to dry. I'm just repositioning those wings while it is, and then hopefully I'll be able to hold it up and show you. So in the silence. I don't know if it's not set enough for me to hold up. If I can put my fingers under it, no, I can't. I will fast forward through this bit on the editing. Hopefully. If not, bear with me. Okay, it's not yet set. If I show you, if I take my hands away, the wings are going to droop down, which I don't want. So when it's set, you're pretty much good to go. So I'm going to leave that over here. I wonder if I can flip it over in one piece. Oh, just about. There we go. So if I hold it up like that, you'll end up with your butterfly, and it will set. Now if you lay it flat, the wings will lay flat, obviously. If you put something underneath the body, you can position the wings so that they're slightly angled. You can just play with that, whatever you think looks best. And then really it is just the finishing touches. So I painted, as I said, the backs of the butterfly wings. That's totally optional. I also painted, although you probably won't be able to see it, the back of the butterfly's body, and then obviously there's your finished article. What on earth do you do with it? Very good question. Well, if you really go for it, you could decorate a child's picture frame or a mirror. You can make a series of them and put them on a mobile. These ones I've simply put onto some kebab sticks that I had in the drawer, unused from the summer, and you can push them into pot plants and things like that, or if you were going to give somebody a bouquet of flowers, you can push them into those. I'll hold up the others for you as well to see again. If not, you could use them as like little decorations when you wrap up presents and stuff. So there you go, very simple spoon head butterflies. Hope you enjoyed that. I will be doing some more, like I say, I'll be doing one of these makes once a week in the lead up to December. Come December, we'll swap over to something a little bit more festive, and we'll do some festive makes. They'll all be free, just free workshops that I'll put out online. I'll also be doing some paid for workshops whereby materials can be sent directly to your home, and you tune in to an online Zoom session where we will make probably some sort of Christmas gift. I wanted to make a craft that wasn't just a craft, it could actually be given as a present. So there you go, that's that for today. I hope you're all well, I hope you stay safe, take care. Bye now.